Many countries scrambling to secure safety for citizens in the region, with governments making preparations to evacuate nationals from affected areas. And for more on developments in the Middle East, we're joined by James Dorsey, Adjunct Senior Fellow at Rajaratnam School of International Studies at Nanyang Technological University, and he joins us live from Manila. Dr. Dorsey, thanks for joining us. If Iran felt...
Pleasure to be with you.
Iran, by attacking U.S. assets in Gulf states, what's its calculation there?
I think what you're seeing is a multi-phased strategy. So the initial attacks were designed to essentially message the Gulf states that if they think that U.S. military facilities on their soil is a deterrence, they may want to rethink that. In fact, U.S. military facilities on their soil is a liability. What we're seeing today with the expansion of the attacks on critical energy facilities in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, now with the closing down of Qatari production of liquid natural gas and associated products, the message being, this is not only going to affect your lifelines of the Gulf states, it's going to affect the lifelines or significantly the economies of major players, including the United States. And therefore, in that way, increasing the pressure on the United States to end the hostilities and return to a negotiating table on equitable terms.
But given that we've just seen a joint statement out in the last hour or so involving the U.S. and 6 allied Gulf states, would you say this message maybe has backfired?
The Gulf states are in a bind, in the sense that they're being attacked, they need to respond, but there is no real good response. You saw the Gulf states' foreign ministers last night issue a statement in which, for the first time, they kept open the option of a military response. But that's problematic too, not just because of what it would mean, but also because you would have the Gulf states attacking Iran alongside Israel and the United States. And that's something, that's an image that the Gulf states certainly do not want.
From Iran's side, the U.S. president wanting, his general preference is for short, targeted clinical strikes with very little pickup after that. But he's now warning that this could extend into weeks. In fact, that could be, some might say that's an optimistic reading. What do you think we would need to see for Iran to make the sorts of concessions Mr. Trump would want to end this strike on Iran?
I think there are two issues here. In my mind, Trump has boxed himself into a corner. Ironically, he yesterday had an opportunity to get out of this quagmire. With the killing of the Iranian supreme leader, he could have said, we're done. We've cut off this head of the snake. Now you, the Iranian people, have the opportunity to change your regime. He didn't do that. And so by not doing that, you have a situation in which victory for the Iranians constitutes survival of the regime, whether that's the recent supreme leader, whether that's under the next supreme leader, or even under a third supreme leader. As long as the regime survives, that is a victory for Iran. The stakes for a victory for Trump are far higher. The second problem that you have is that Iran and the United States, and this is a reflection of where we're going with the international world order, have a very different definition of what constitutes a negotiated solution and what constitutes progress in negotiations. For Donald Trump, the definition of a solution is surrender, capitulation. That was in fact the word that the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff used in an interview last week. For the Iranians, it's a much more traditional definition in terms of finding solutions that are mutually beneficial, mutually acceptable, and allow all parties to save face.
Oh, very quickly, Dr. Dorsey, Mr. Trump has said, telling the Iranian people, we'll do the heavy lifting, and then why don't you step in after that to seize the day and remove your own government? You don't think that would work?
That's a deceiving and, in my mind, in fact, misleading proposition. If you go back to the 1979 revolution and you go all through popular revolts since then, Philippines 1986, Indonesia 1998, 2011 Arab popular protests, what mass protests do is set the stage for cracks within the political elite or within the military and security establishment. That's what happened in 1979. I stood in the exact street where it happened and watched it happen when the middle ranks of the Iranian Air Force revolted. And you therefore had a split in the armed forces, and there were elements of the Navy who chipped in. You're not seeing that in Iran today, not in the political elite, not in the military and security elite, including the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. That's not to say that there are not differences within those entities, but those are not differences at this point, which are going to break them apart, which would enable the protests to lead to a transition.
Well, thanks. Dr. James Dorsey, the adjunct senior fellow at the Rajaratnam School of International Studies right here in NTU, was speaking to us from Manila.